And hello. So give me a second. I need to do my own AV for 5 seconds. So here we go. Right. There we go. There we go. So, welcome everyone to this talk, which is a conference talk about running and staffing InfoSec conferences. Or, how I put it, giving a talk about running conferences at a conference that is taking place inside a bigger conference that I'm partly running, this one, yeah, not DTX, whilst also discussing said conference using assets and pictures from said conference. Mind blown yet? We're getting there. So what is this? When I'm talking about InfoSec conferences specifically, not necessarily vendor conferences, not software, not... Let's restrain the scope slightly. It's a bunch of personal stories, perspectives, because, well, I'll get into it, but I do also run my own conference beyond also helping out this one. And it's also a slight fourth wall break, because, hey, talking about conferences at a conference, maybe, perhaps. And it's also very much a shitpost. Which is perfect for a closing keynote, I guess. So, what isn't this? It isn't an InfoSec talk per se, even though this is, you know, the beer farmer, cybersecurity. There we go. It's not an InfoSec talk per se. It isn't a self-congratulatory bunch of roses thrown my way. I'd love to, but I don't do that. So there you go. And it is definitely not vendor bullshit. Hi, everyone. Snake oil. Or academic shenanigans. So, few disclaimers first of all. None about my employer. I'm not going to name and shame any conferences. If anyone's done something bad, I am not going to say they fucked up, unless it's me, perhaps. I only have a limited visibility. I've only been in this field, or at least attending cybersecurity conferences for the last 2 years-ish, give or take 2.5 years. Most of that, if you haven't remembered or if you're choosing to ignore it, was COVID. So this is my actually second physical conference I've attended. So there you go. And you will also be subjected to some of my stupid, inane, wacky shit. Oops. So who am I? I'm Nikos. If you were there yesterday, this is also Nikos. It's just the other Nikos. The one that comes out at night. I do some software engineering, some applications engineering, depending on, you know, maybe-ish. On the side, I do studies. I perform some OSINT. I help manage a community called Digital Overdose. And I build CTFs, and I also attend them. In such, I have a lot of free time. And I do stupid fun things, such as give this talk, and also perhaps, run my own conference. So, I've been around, not that around, this around. Been involved in a few CTFs, AppSec Village, B-Sides Newcastle, TransTech Tent coming up in a week, Digital Overdose, once more, BeerCon3, oh, BeerCon4. Guess where that's at. B-Sides Newcastle 21, Play Secure, May Contain Hackers, blah, 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 blah. There's a line. So, let's take a small peek behind the curtain of conferences. Because, hey, you enjoy attending conferences, I enjoy building and staffing them. Full circle. So a conference timeline is pretty much this. You have the idea part of the conference, okay, which takes time. You build an identity, you build a brand, you build a website, you build some social media-ish. You have a CFP process where you collect presentation ideas and potentially go a little bit more into detail. You review that CFP, so a call for presentation or call for, well, presenter. Or papers, depending on if you're in academia or not. Then you have a small preparation bit, so mentoring on the side of the speakers if they need it, event communication, you know, tweeting about stuff, preparing assets. Now, if you're the beer farmers, you just put 24 hours here instead of a month. Hi. And yeah, and like after the conference, you have the post-con where you do stuff with swag, so, you know, stuff. You do some video editing if you need to, you communicate the results if you want to, you collect some sponsors all along the way, you try to at least, and you maintain a website where you maintain stuff up to date. So, speaking about identity of things, let's go through these steps. So the concept is kind of, you know, what the con is about, who is the target audience, Who are the target speakers? What are the objectives? Like, are you trying to teach someone something? Are you trying to post some vendor bullshit? You know, there you go. So you build a bit of an identity. So here we have the beer farmers. I totally didn't rip this asset from my GIMP folder. So yeah, BeerCon3. Hey, okay, BeerCon4. There seems to be a trend. Mostly orange to yellow. So you provide a scaffold. You have a code of conduct or a website, rules, etc. Social media, a style guide, a timeline, etc. Okay? And you design the thing. The thing is where you're actually all sitting right now or watching from on Twitch. Hopefully I didn't kill the stream. And yeah, that's pretty much it. The CFP itself is, well, you need to communicate it to get presentations in. So it's a process, it takes time. You need to get it out there to a variety of people, because if you get 30 salespeople up here, or 30 people that only do DevSecOps, or only do Kubernetes, I mean, not slagging KubeCon, they do fantastic stuff, but like, yeah, they're also way more skilled at that than I am, so they probably have ideas. And yeah, you will also have a bunch of snake oil vendors or con bunnies who will also apply. Con bunnies is kind of like when you have a music show, a festival, you will always have the same people always like jumping from one to the other. And oftentimes they might not be so fantastic people to have around. CFPs have the same problem. So you have a preparation time. The assets, as I mentioned. This is an asset from BeerCon4. So if you're watching this from home, this presentation is going to be inside this presentation. Fun. Slightly fun. Right. Optionally, if your speakers need it, you have some mentoring around, you know. Helps to help newer speakers get their mark slightly, or at least not be disoriented, or at least dry run their talks. It's nice. And you have staff. Hi, Jer. Hi, Dave. Hi, the beer farmers. Hi, Andy. I saw this there. So yeah, and fantastic people that will help you make it be good. The con itself, you need some stage magic. So here we have an actual stage. Fantastic. You have small fires, such as small issues with timing, small issues with ambient noise, small issues with people running around screaming. That's not happened actually, so very good. Then you have big fires. Things that might actually cause you to halt the conference, such as, I don't know, pressing stop streaming accidentally. It's happened. Or things actually catching fire. Don't. So yeah, you have a setup. Looks a bit terrible. This is from another conference, it's Digital Overdose. This is here, where you will actually notice that this is the slide that we're currently on, just without the images. Just know when I did these slides. So, the post-con happens just by releasing the videos, so whatever we're recording here. So for example, CCC has the CCC production house. Brilliant people, they'll get it out in like 2 or 3 days. We try to match their efficacy. Beer farmers also do. It's a process. You have swagonomics, which is, don't Google that, don't get the Urban Dictionary definition because it is the wrong definition and I'm way too white to say it. But it is dealing with swag, as in sending packets out to speakers, sending stuff, t-shirts, stickers. And then you have aftercare, which is basically just, yeah, not that one, the other one, where you actually talk to them and see that, hey, are they happy with, you know, how the talk was recorded, etc. Or do they want to censor a bit because, hey, they got a cease and desist letter. It's happened. Yeah. Fun stories. I mean fun. This kind of fun, not the real fun. The real fun comes after. So you have people that are too cool for rules. I'm terrible at memes, so there you go. You do not want the person to be, don't read this, it's useless. You don't want to be the person that gets the code of conduct from this size to this size. You do not want to be that person. Because, hey, people that are volunteering are volunteering. There, Dave, Andy, beer farmers. Don't disrespect, don't be an ass. Typical stuff, right? Yeah, you'd think. CFPs are fun. in the sense that, hey, people will just spray and pray some conferences, as in send their CFP in everywhere. And then you have people that go like at a rookie conference, so they didn't even bother reading. Hey, I spoke at CNASI, AppSec California, BeerCon4, etc., etc., etc. The list goes on. I'm like, no thank you, mate. You have a large amount of volume. There you go. And then you also have snake oil, which is why you have a CFP review process, which needs to filter out the snake oil and the vendors and the bullshit. Yeah, it's a process, as I said. Content guides. So style guidelines, you know, a style sheet. Now, this is very rich coming from me because my style sheet is this. I start, is there enough neon? No, add more neon. Is there enough hexagons? No, add more hexagons. That's it, that's my style sheet. So yeah, have a font color palette, have a social media plan, have some place to share these things, you know, like, I don't know, speaker cards, etc., where everyone can access it on the team, I mean. You have AV issues. So let's say the con space. It's loud. We had hum yesterday. We have a bit of ambient noise. We need to deal with this. Especially when, you know, I'm not an audio engineer. So you show me these things, I can tell you that they blink and that they do things. Massive props to the company that put this up because I know. There we go. So you have ambient noise, you have loopback. Hello, BeerCon4. You have upstream and downstream issues, you know, networking. And then you have recordings that can magically disappear when your computer catches fire, allegedly. You can juggle dropouts because, hey, no one likes an unscheduled break. So you need to edit the schedule, or if you're having fun, you can do a surprise QA, so surprising that someone is actually doing it from their garden drinking a mimosa. Best kind of QA, thanks to James Ward, that was 2 years ago. So yeah, having friends available that have a slide deck on hand and can do a talk is fun. I learned that one the hard way. Having guest speakers, like, hey, want to do a surprise keynote? Thanks. You have 2 minutes. And you can also go behind the scenes of scenes, because, hey, cons sometimes die and no one knows why. Or community, same with communities, and there's like a shit ton of stuff behind it. Because, well, let's say staff are shit umbrellas. They try to shield speakers, attendees, and all that from a bunch of stuff. Imagine, so we have a talk on, you know, TrickBot. Hey, hi Joe. Imagine that we got this this team of, how many people was it? Yeah, 100 odd, just starting slagging everyone, attacking Twitch, you know, all that bullshit. Organizers are shit umbrellas, in the nicest possible ways. They're not indeed, yeah. You have people that are phobic, you have people that are racist, xenophobic, etc., etc. The list goes on. Something has actually caught fire. We don't want that. Yeah, literally. We have incidents that needs to be smoothed out because, hey, you can actually offend people by talking. People need to know that. People are sometimes unaware. So yeah. A few other small things. Broken laptop, presentation format out of whack, flock of seagulls, no backups, a copyright strike, moderation fails, recording fails, not having the appropriate dongles for your 50 billion thing. Ian isn't here, but he had a FireWire to HDMI adapter. There you go. Mixed channels, because if, you know, we have a sound deck here, it's very nice, but also I'm not an audio engineer. Logistics can go badly. I've had to go to a bathroom today, you wouldn't assume, but yeah, that means that someone needs to be here. Or bad network. Please don't. This is what I meant with ambient, you see? You're proving my point. There you go. So for example, I'm going to give you the perfect example of how to be a very terrible speaker. I'm going to cite myself at DEF CON. I had a computer, plugged it into American electricity, and you wouldn't guess how many American things are bad for you. So my laptop decided to not work for a while, and my talk wasn't backed up, and my demo either. So I had to do an M.2 drive switchy with another computer. a corporate computer. This comes in 5 seconds later, because when I plugged that in during the talk, guess what happened? HDMI is disabled. Fun. The best kind of fun. There we go. Best kind of fun. So what did I do? I got their old CTF scoreboard computer, 2007 Dell Inspiron, running Windows 11. So that took about 2 minutes to boot. And then shoved in my USB key, which I thankfully had the key to, you know, there. Shoved my USB key into it. It turned off. I had to boot it back up, you know, find a charger, put it back in, and then give my presentation. Lost 20 minutes out of a 1 hour slot. Also, I didn't have a demo anymore, so there went the 20 minutes. So yeah, now back to the third part. I mentioned I do stupid and fun things. Let's get into this. So yeah, when you're dealing with AV at a conference, well, there's not that much space here to my left. Yeah, that's not going to fix itself. So you have an audio deck. You have it's not your fault. It's my fault. You have an audio deck. You have an OBS station. You have a bunch of stuff. So you can literally do this by being one person. VOD editor. That's everything from, you know, the recordings. Zoom with camera and microphone into Twitch. Well, viewing Twitch stats because hey, you need to. Viewing the chat, moderating, all that stuff. You zoom into this computer, which you're recording and streaming to OBS, which, wouldn't you know, is what you're catching on Twitch. You can do this from one desk. Ask me how I know. This laptop is this laptop. There you go. So like I said, OBS, Stream Deck, because I'm not sponsored by them, but please. I'm kidding. Zoom OBS in. Zoom me in. There we go. It's to avoid loopback issues, you know, those ones. What else do we have? We have a microphone, useful to get heard. People ask me to mute, but hey. Camera, because, you know, it's nice to have a face to give to the speakers. Twitch, for stats. VOD editor, there we go. Moving to now. Sorry for the blur. Exciting. OBS. OBS in. It's a video switcher. Very nice. TV in. You're watching this on the TV. It's working. Zoom. That's for our remote speakers. Cam. There you go. And the microphone here. And an audio thing. I am not an audio engineer. I mentioned this. So basically the exact same setup, but more complicated. The audio thing is this. Headsets. Handheld, Zoom, graphics, like turn, left, right, master, all that fun, yeah. Now, I was scared to do the MCH 2022 audio switching. It had like 5 inputs. Yeah. You'll learn by doing. The stream assets are fun to make. Now, you have this. This is the BeerCon4 asset, sorry, my bad. Which is divided in a few areas, right? Sponsors, all that jazz. Yeah, more recursion. We like recursion, apparently. And we have the additional overlay so that we can unmess up slide overlay, so we don't have to be pixel perfect. Yes, this is my computer. This was 2 days ago. And if you've attended the conference I run, you might realize it is dastardly similar. For reasons. So this is a live shot, just edited out. And I do wacky shit. Like, what is this, you ask? Or you don't. But I'm going to tell you. And you remember what I said about neon and hexagons? Yeah, it's a thing. It's a problem. I need to see someone about that. But yeah. But let's get technical. Very technical. Maybe. No, I'm not. I'm not that evil. This thing. What is this thing? Well, it's a waveform. It's a fun waveform. Who would want to do an audio waveform for every single piece of music that you're going to be using as your between presenters music? The break music. So, my favorite thing to do is spending time automating stuff that I could have done by hand. And I try every single time to disprove this statement. Right, never spend 6 minutes doing something by hand if you can spend 6 hours failing to automate it. I tried to disprove that. I succeed. This crap. I'm not asking you to read this. I'm just asking you to cringe at this part, which is FFmpeg input. That's one filter. Why do I do this to myself, I ask, knowing perfectly well that I'm slightly masochistic. This is for Blender, because hey, of course you do some video editing, you need some blendering to just shove things on things. The reason why I didn't do it by hand for each and every one of them, because I had 25 of them. One thing, maybe. 25 things, no. So yeah. Also spreadsheets. We are in InfoSec after all. Slightly. I mean, most of us are. And those of us that aren't also use spreadsheets otherwise, you know, or cybersec, or software, or like you use spreadsheets, right? So, spreadsheets. 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 We love spreadsheets. No. So yeah, wouldn't be InfoSec without spreadsheets. So, I am dastardly early. I had less than 47 slides. It's very normal. I'm finishing after 20 minutes. So, cons are fun for you, fun for me. That, so far, so good. I'm hoping you have a good time with my inane wacky shit. They can also be very unfun. Yeah, it's a thing. So we both have to work as attendees, as volunteers, as hosting space, as venue, as etc. to make it fun. Because otherwise we are just fighting a losing battle. And also, if you have more questions, I'm there. After. There you go. If you want to use this, just use it. I don't know. And if you want to ask me any questions, it's there and there. And yeah, on Twitter, on Discord, on LinkedIn if you want, or right here afterwards. We do have apparently time for a QA. Woo! So if anyone could help by handing out a microphone. Because, I mean, I could, but it's a bit beside the point. You need to turn it on.
It'd be like...
No, shove. Up.
Hello.
Yeah,
there we go.
Any questions?
Why do you want to run your own conference?
It just happened. I took a stroll one... No, I didn't, actually, no. I was drunk one evening.
Shocker.
Thank you, Dave. You were there. And yeah, so I had this terrible idea and I was chatting about it with the other person that helps manage Digital Overdose. And in a stupid idea moment, I just said it out loud and it happened. So there you go.
What was your favourite thing about doing it?
Probably not sleeping inside of my makerspaces, inside of my makerspace where I was hosting it because I have shit Wi-Fi at home. Hamsters, you know. Yeah, sleeping on the floor of a makerspace because that's fun. But no, it's when people come back a little bit later and tell me that they liked it or they enjoyed it or it was their first time and yeah, it was nice.
Any other questions? Ooh, dang.
Do you ever sleep? Because you do so much impressive stuff, it's amazing.
Do you want an actual like number count? I have a spreadsheet. No. Yes, I do sleep, just not a lot and not in healthy timings. Oh, Bushido. Uh-oh.
Oh, the celibate will.
What would be your dream conference to run on? What would you do it about? Like,
One like I don't have to run.
Fair play.
Yeah, let's wait 5 seconds until we do this, and then we can do the closing statements by the beer farmers because we need to get Mike on Zoom. He's already on Zoom. Haha. Well, he's not.
Woo!